Hey guys, today we're in the book of 2 Kings chapter 11. So you got to remember the family trees here, okay? So we're going to have Athaliah, which is a descendant of the family of Ahab, the wicked king of the north that we read a few chapters ago. But her son is a king of the south, of Judah, and his name was Ahaziah. Okay, and this all happens, if you remember, because you have Jehoram who married the daughter of King Ahab. All right, so you had the king of the south married the daughter of the king of the north. Right, so now years have progressed. Athaliah is older. Her son is king. She has grandsons and grandchildren running around. But here we start off in verse 1 saying that her son was dead. You remember, he was executed by King Jehu a chapter ago, right? So now there is no king of the south. Of course, he would have had children, but they're all young kids, right? So once she discovered that her son was dead, she rose and destroyed all of the royal family. She destroys what she thought was everybody in the family tree of David, thus making her the only heir to the throne. She's not really an heir. She's just going to take over because her son was a throne and there is no heir. So it gives a little kind of middle ground for her to take over. All the while keeping the Ahab, King Ahab of the north, keeping his descendancy afresh so that she could become a queen or a king of Israel. Most of the time, just a little Jeopardy moment, people will always refer to her as a king, even though she's a woman, and yes, she's a queen. It's always referred to as the kings of Judah or the kings of Israel. Just a little note. So she basically kills all of her grandkids. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, right? She kills them all except for one. There's one who got away. But Jehosheba, which is the daughter of King Joram, the sister of Ahaziah, took Joash, the son of Ahaziah. So one grandson survived because they hid him away, and they hid him away for 6 years. They kept him away from their grandma, and so he would become king. Now, we'll learn in the next chapter that he was only 1 year old when he was taken away. So he was a baby. So it was very easy to conceal him and to keep him away and just lump him in with other women who had babies, and no one would really know that there is a true heir to the throne, and this guy's name was Joash. And so basically they hid him for 6 years. So he turned 7 years old, right? And now it is time. The Lord tells them that it is time for him to become the king. Well, remember, this evil grandma is still on the throne of the south, of Jerusalem, of Judah. And so what happens? So there is a priest. His name is Jehoiada or Jehoiada. The Lord communicates him this vision and basically said, here's what we're going to do. This is how we're going to anoint him as the king of Judah. And they do this on the Sabbath. And if you know enough of the Bible, what we've read, right, they're not supposed to do much on the Sabbath, but the Sabbath instituted a new week. And so as a new week, the change of the guards happens. So there's only one time in all of the week that there would be the old guards of the week and the new guards on the week. So there's a double guard duty for just a brief moment around the king, right? Around the temple. And so this is exactly why the Lord picks through Yehuda that it's going to happen on a Sabbath. And so basically they come up with a plan. The old guards are a part of it. The new guards are a part of it. And bam, they basically line up around the throne. They put this young Joash, 7 years old, on the throne. They anoint him. They cry him king. I love this. It says they brought out the king's son. They put a crown on him. They gave him the testimony, which means they gave him the Torah. They gave him the Old Testament, right? They gave him the Bible, and they proclaimed him king and anointed him, and they clapped their hands singing, "Long live the king." Much of this still happens today, even in Europe when they anoint a new king. This is very similar. This is where they get it from. Of course, when the queen, Athaliah, hears this, what's all this chaos going in, she runs in and she sees this picture, this young 7-year-old boy standing up in the throne, and all of the soldiers are calling him a king, right? And she yells out, "Treason, treason," but it's unfounded. It's not treason. He truly is an heir to the throne. He is a son of David, so there is no threat of treason, and basically they haul her out and they have her killed. Verse 17, and Yehoiada made a covenant between the Lord and the king's people. And this covenant says two things. One, they should be the Lord's people. He's recommitting the people and the king together, right? They're recommitting Judah back to the Lord, because Judah has been under three bad kings, right? Jehoram, Ahaz, and Athaliah, right? And so they're saying, hey, we want to go back to the Lord. But also, Jehoiada in his covenant says that they also should be between the king and the people. He's saying that the people of Israel and the king should have a mutual understanding. They should have a good agreement. They should treat one another well, right? So they're kind of wiping the slate clean, and they're saying, hey, we want to be better. We want to be a godly nation with a godly king. And they start this out, and they go down in verse 18, and then all the people of the land went to the house of Baal. They tore it down, his altars, his images, and they even killed the priest Matan. And if you're reading this, you might think, well, didn't this just happen? Didn't Jehu just did this? But remember, Jehu was a king of the north, right? So he tore down the temple of Baal in Samaria in the north. This is the temple of Baal in Jerusalem of the south, right? This tells you how far Israel has walked away. Even though it is in the south, even though it is in the house of David in Jerusalem, there still was a temple of Baal. So they tear all this down. They killed the priest of Baal. And this young boy Joash took his seat on the throne of the kings. So all the people of the land rejoiced, and the city was quiet after Athaliah had been put to death in the sword with the sword at the king's house. And so after this young boy Joash, this new king, takes place, it becomes to be a good place. Now, it's not good forever, but it's way better than it has been, right? So Athaliah was queen for 6 years, and Joash, the 7-year-old boy, he will be king for the next 40 years of the south. He will bring about a lot of good things, but there'll be some bad things too. Hope that makes a little bit more sense, and we'll see you in chapter 12. God bless.